I'm talking cash money.
I'm gonna bring cash.
Okay, bring about 10,000. Bring 20,000. Bring 30,000. Bring all the money you can bring.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'm
Okay.
gonna call you soon, Ron.
Okay, nice talking to you.
So what to you makes a record so great?
I'm going to say the bad thing. Money. Sales. Money. Sales. Money. Sales. Getting nervous. When I see money coming in, I get nervous. $15 is with the 20%. Put that in there. 1528 is what?
43.
43, and then 31 is 74. Okay, you're better than me. I knew you would be better than me. Just give me $70. You're a nice guy.
Thank you.
I didn't give you a discount, but I don't charge you the sales tax. I pay the sales tax at the end. In fact, it's coming up in January. I gotta pay, so I do pay it. But and that's gonna go in your bag. I almost took it back. Okay, this is $70. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Before music, I went through about 10 different jobs, where I picked up learning experiences of how to work and work good. So I learned a lot about buying and selling and making money. Then one day at the flea market, I see a gentleman out there selling brand new records for cheap money. And I thought, well, I was at that time in the custom jewelry business also, making good money. But one year, the custom jewelry business went down the toilet. And I was at the flea market and I saw this guy with the records. I bought his big load of records. So every week for 6 weeks, I go to a flea market and I buy 1,000 records. Put them in my store and I'm selling them like crazy because I'm selling them cheap. So they're going nice, nice, nice. So I keep buying records. Well, I did try before I dropped the records. When my custom jewelry went down the toilet, I bought a load of gold chains. $1,000 worth of gold chains. You know how many you get? About 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. I had about 6 gold chains, $1,000. And I'm looking at my records, and I got a ton of records for $1,000. I says, I can't do gold. Can't afford the gold, but records I could afford. Okay, so I start buying the records. Next thing I know, my store's full of records. Then I started going to the distributors in Chicago, buying the cutout stuff, they call it, for $1, $2, buy it cheap. And I got into that. And I kept buying and buying and buying and buying. And my wife at the time says, stop buying, stop buying. I can't stop buying because it looks so good, and I'm making money on it, I'm turning the money. So on the weekends, I had to go to a flea market and sell stuff at the flea market. All the years I was there. Well, after so many years with the flea market, I said, because I learned about festivals. Festivals with people don't try to get you down on your price. At the flea market, they do. They want to this and that. But festivals, they're nicer people. They got more money, and they made more money. So anyway, I was there 10 years, 12 years, every year, making $2,000 a week, $2,000 a week, $2,000 a week. Not much. Well, in those days, 2,000 wasn't bad for 8 days. But one year, we bombed out. Every day, 8 days in a row, it rained. Total nothing. I'm at my little store in Lyons at that time, and a guy comes by that sold me my counters, my glass counters to display stuff. I display jewelry and other stuff. And he had a big load of costume jewelry, a ton of it. Do you want to buy it, Ron? No, hell no, hell no, hell no. He says, Ron, you got to buy it. I'm going to give it to you super cheap, like $200. It was a ton of stuff, okay? That got me into the costume jewelry business. I took that costume jewelry business. It was right time for the fair and made big money there. I go to the flea market again and I see the guy with the records, so I start buying records. So I should have stayed in the costume jewelry because I was making a lot of money, having a lot of fun. I could have toured the United States. All kinds of festivals are out there. And you can load up your car trunk with a mess of costume jewelry. You can't take you got to take a 10-foot truck with records to a festival. Can't do it. It's logistics. I was young then. I didn't think of the logistics of records and CDs and tapes. I did my little costume jewelry. If I had the brains, figured it out, stuck with it, I'd have been great. So I made big money at these festivals and costume jewelry. Why didn't I stay in the business? Why did I get in the record business?
That's why we're here.
I did like to look at the covers and that. That was exciting. And I got into the music a little bit, but I wasn't much for playing anything. I just learned what sold, kept that in my mind, and I sold the records, and I kept buying records. And after the Chicago distributors didn't have any more that I liked, I caught a guy in Ohio. He said he had 1,000 pallets. You know what a pallet is of records? He said he had 1,000. He's in a parking garage, okay? Big, giant parking garage where you park hundreds and I don't know how many cars. It was loaded. And I bought from him the first load, $30,000. I went back to the bank, borrowed $30,000. First load, go to him with the $30,000. Because at that time, I knew what was good stuff to buy, okay? So I cherry-picked the first load, $30,000 with 6 guys. I had a friend that was in the trucking business. He come out for a big load, 2 trucks, big trucks, giant trucks, loaded up, took them back. Where am I going to put them? Well, I got a friend in Skokie that just got into a supermarket, a giant supermarket, and he remodeled it. Beautiful, beautiful. He's in there for a couple months. He says, Ron, I got an empty back room. Bring your stuff over. So the trucks went over to him because he could unload them at his dock, get them inside, and he was going to process my... At that time, I was doing a lot of wholesale business, the stores. Not retail business, but the stores. That's why I bought so big, the 30 grand worth. So I go back to get a second load. And they bring with me a bigger amount of money. Each trip was a week to 2 weeks, picking out the stuff, because I'm picking out only the cherries. We went through a pallet. I know I said, grab that. And I had these 6 guys grabbing stuff all week long, 10 days, whatever, grabbing stuff. I bought anything and everything that I could identify with. Rock, country, easy listening, anything I could identify with. If I couldn't identify with it, because I had enough smarts to know the good stuff. If I could identify with it, Johnny, get this. Bill, get this. And not that we're not talking onesies. We're talking box lots. I'd take, if it was a great title, I'd take 10 boxes. If he had 10 boxes, I took them all. Clean them out. I got titles upstairs 1,000 pieces of. I took them all. I probably got from them, I'm going to guess at least 200,000, at least. But I sort of made a statement. I'm going to buy them all in loads. I can't buy them all now, you know, the whole works, but I gave him the bull, and I said, I'm going to buy them all in increments. Well, I only went 2 times. The third time, I didn't go back because I cleaned them out of all the cherries. I got a lot of cherries. You name it, hopefully I got it. Might not have the exact title you want, but I got the artist. I got nostalgia stuff. Nostalgia, there's the word. Nostalgia. After Lyons, went to Brookfield and did more wholesale business. Lyons, Brookfield was bringing me in $100,000 a year. My store was jammed, and I think, at that time I still had a 2,000 square foot warehouse in Lyons where I lived. My house in Lyons was jammed. The garage was jammed. The basement downstairs in the house was jammed, and that was a crawl space. I used to crawl on a automotive dolly, whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but I used to put the records on it and then get down and push it, because the underneath the house was only like 4 feet maybe, and I filled that up, and so that was jammed. My house was jammed. The store was jammed. Then I had a 2,000 square foot warehouse for a while, and that got jammed. And then the inventory grew so big, didn't have no room, and I started adding up what I was spending for rents and mortgages payments and taxes, $30,000 a year. I said, I gotta move. This is a true story. I got in my car. I'm in Brookfield. I get on Ogden Avenue, Route 34, and I just kept driving. Downers Grove, Westmont, Downers Grove, and Naperville kept going. I just kept driving. I'm looking, because I want something on the main path. So then that's where I came out to Mendota. I get to Mendota finally, and on the main path is this nice big building. I thought, oh, okay, I got a chance here. Call the realtor up, and it's only like 3,000 square feet. I says, nah, that's not going to cut it. She says, well, I got another building for you to look at. I says, okay, I'll take a look at it. It was this building. Not that warehouse out there, okay? That's an addition I put on. Just this building. It was top and bottom, top and bottom. And living quarters upstairs. I got my living quarters upstairs. And I says, well, how much is that? And she says, $150,000. Now that's 26 years ago. That was a lot of money. When I did move in here, it took me 1 year. 1 year of maybe 7 semi-loads. I don't know how many van loads I would drive. Every time I come here on the weekend, I bring in a van load. And then I started driving a 20-foot truck myself to get stuff in. 1 year with my 16-year-old son to move everything and put up racks. 1 year. I built that. That cost me $150,000 too, to build that. And it's just metal. But the metal's the cement, and the years went by, the prices are up. When I came here, I had 300 accounts, wholesale business. I didn't do nothing else, and the money just basically poured in. I was doing big bucks, 5, 6 years, big bucks. My big was international business with Japan, with UK, with Europe, Australia, you basically name it. 2 French guys. Yeah.
They stayed here, right?
Yeah, they slept in my guest room upstairs for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks, I had to move my butt for them. Because they weren't just looking here. They were looking here, upstairs, out there. Because they were looking for a lot of expensive stuff. $50 stuff, $75 stuff, $100 stuff.
So what happened to your international wholesale business?
Walk into the post office one day and they say, no more ocean shipments. I would ship this by ocean to Japan for 50 cents. Small store buys 100 records, 50 cents, that's $50, $60, $50, $60. He waits 2 months, but he gets it for $50, $60, $60, 100. That's 50 cents, 60 cents a piece. Okay, now that ocean business is gone. It's only by air. Now by air, he buys 100 records. They're $3 a piece, $300 for air shipments. The post office killed my business, just like that. I lost all my international business. I had some wholesale United States business, but not big. My big was international business with Japan, with UK, with Europe. That gave me the big bucks. I lost it all, just like that.
What do you see happening going forward?
All my low-end records that I can get rid of, and if I got to keep dropping the price, I will, because that's my first step. The second step is for the big guys to come in and look at my cherries and make me a fair offer, because they've already been here. Some big guys, they want to buy. You know, one guy come from New York, offered me $200,000. Gonna cherry pick. I said no, because I know from being in the business, I know what they pull on you. Then I'll just continue to sell my cherries along with my CDs, because my CD sales are going up. They're starting to beat the records. Sold a guy in China $450 for a medal, like death medal, $450. He wanted it. Hey, he got the money. He bought it, $450. That was my biggest CD sale, $450. My biggest album sale was I got one Johnny Rodriguez or some Rodriguez guy there that I sold several for $450, $350. I can pull it if you want to see it. Let's see, John Rodriguez. I think it's over here. And I don't have too many left. I got those left, maybe 10 or something. Okay, this is the guy. Yeah, Rodriguez, coming from reality. I'm gonna put that away before I lose it. I think we had it up to $450, then we dropped it a little bit. So we sold maybe one for $450, one for $400, one for $425, and we just kept dropping it. We had about at least 20, 25 when we started. When we first listed it in the marketplace. Most expensive one that I can think of on the spur of the moment. Well, I just sold a Michael Jackson 3-record set, box set, just recently. Just went out the door last week. $750. Now that's a gem. And I'm not going to let the millionaires come in and get that from me for $3. It ain't going to work. $750. I got an itch to buy more CDs. And I know how to do it. I contact all the record stores, which I've already done in Illinois, just to start with. Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, close to me, Michigan. They don't like to buy anymore. They ain't got no money to buy the records no more. But I'm seeing a shift. Now, it could be a temporary shift. 6 months from now, they might die. And I might be stuck with a million CDs, which I don't want. That don't do me no good either. So I got to play it by ear. That's my next thinking. That's one of my next thinking. I got another plan, too. I don't know if I want to tell you about that plan.
What's your next plan?
I don't know if you can, well, you can't maybe record all of it. and you got to keep your mouth shut.
You tell us off camera, yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you off camera. Because I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Because I got no choice. You come to me and spend $100 and you're picking out some $1, $2 records or cheaper CDs, I make sure I give you a gift. That's my policy, is to make you a little bit happy so you feel good. You're getting it for free. You spend $100 on me. Why shouldn't I give you something for a gift?
You said, this is a dream.
Yeah, it was a dream because I didn't think I could manage it. You know, sometimes we got dreams to do things and we just can't. Yeah, it was a dream.
Is the dream continuing?
Yes, because I want to add on to this building a 30 by 75 square foot addition. Yes, it is. It is still a dream, yeah, it is. And you never know what's going to come in the door today or next week. Somebody wants to sell off their collection, always looking for something different or extra coming in. Different stuff gets me excited.
So is it the thrill of finding that, that lot?
Thrill. It's a thrill. Yes, it is. It's a, how else can you call it? It's like a high, a big high. Because it don't happen every day. And that puts a smile on me. And it makes me want to get up again and do some more work the next day.
Say, I was right.
Yeah, I was right.